Welcome to a new series! I am going to be playing this fucking old school game that I grew up with and discuss the soul trap and shit. Let's go! Whatever, some backstory shit, whatever. I'm gonna be playing this character that I named Chad with an exclamation mark because that's what I am. And so in the beginning, they tell you some kind of like bullshit story or whatever about this girl named Zelda, which I thought was the main character when I grew up for some reason. I think a lot of people make that mistake. And, our dad is gonna run off and try and save her or some shit, and then we're gonna go and find our dad. I'm gonna be playing this game on a challenge that I like to call the Robin Hood game mode. Which basically means that once we get into the dark world, I'm gonna deliberately lose my gear so that I'm running around with a bow and shit, rather than using my sword. That's gonna be a fun little challenge. I'm gonna need this torch for later on, probably. Oh yeah, old school graphics. These guards are gonna block you from going anywhere else, So you can tell it's an old game because, the map loads as you walk into a new territory. So, the soul trap, yeah. Have you guys ever noticed, like, how this world is kind of like designed kind of like a video game is, like the whole system, is like on a flat space and everything. And the people fucking act like, well, NPC characters. It's, can't even really communicate with them in anything like spiritual because they lack the understanding of it. Oh yeah, and now we find our dad, and apparently he failed his mission and, he died. And he's telling me that I have to use B button to use his weapon. So, we take his shit and leave him for dead. Because that's what a good son does. And if we, fuck, it's on C. That's what you get for playing it on an emulator. Right, well, I guess that's attack button. I'll get used to sword until I can, get my bow shit going on. Because otherwise you can't really beat the game. So I kind of have to wait for that to actually do the Robin Hood one. Pick that up. Get some mana. I can use that to, let's see. Okay, so that's X. If I do that, I can like light it with my equipment. That's like my equipment bar. I only have one at the moment, so there's nothing to do there. Yeah, so the soul trap, it's a fun one, isn't it? It kind of leaves you in this kind of state where you don't really feel like there's any point to anything around you. It's yeah, it's a waste of time basically. You're just sitting around waiting to die, kind of. At least that's kind of how I feel. I don't know if you guys feel that way or not, but that's kind of how I feel about it. It helps, to make videos and shit because then you have like a kind of a purpose in a way, because you get to like help people out, be it just talking to people, making videos or shit. So like there's some kind of world benefit or whatever to your existence, kind of. Get that key so we can open the door. Get our little map for the dungeon. Oh shit. Damn, I suck at this game. When I was little, I actually got my mother to play a lot of the game for me. Oh god, I'm about to die. Like a lot of the stuff I couldn't really beat on my own. So I made her do it for me, It's kind of pathetic in a way, but that's what I did. Hold on, I got a message. Alrighty, I'm Becky. Or should I say I'm Becky, because that's like a movie or something. I don't know. Okay, so something that I've realized or well, that I've been thinking about, is you know, how do we identify an NPC? Because I had this idea basically where I call it the code break line. So basically, in order to identify someone as an NPC, you would kind of like check if they would be able to break their own programming code pattern. So for example, if you have a right-oriented person and you ask him a question, he's gonna have, you know, a specific way to respond to that. And if you challenge his worldview or whatever, then you're not gonna be able to basically make him not do those things, you know, or like have that kind of mindset. So for example, you know, they're gonna be like, whoa, go Trump, you know, some shit, you know. And if you talk about a lefty, they're gonna be like, whoa, go Biden, you know, or some shit. Basically, the idea is that you identify what their NPC programming is, and then you basically present them with some kind of like evidence or whatever. And if they're unable to basically use basic logic, you know, like 2 plus 2 equals 4, but they can't do it because they're a fucking NPC, then, you know, that's a way to identify someone as an NPC. Now, this isn't like bulletproof necessarily, but like if you keep doing it to someone, then you can kind of like get the hint that, yeah, this is definitely an NPC person. Like every now and then, you know, even a real person is gonna be a little bit of an idiot, you know. But that's kind of a way to identify people as an NPC. I guess another way would be kind of like, how would I say that? If you notice that their live script patterns or whatever don't really seem to function the same kind of way as a real person, as a real person's would. It's, I don't know about you, but it seems like a lot of people have pretty shitty lives. It's kind of like the Matrix is fucking them over. Then I guess but then again, I guess like a lot of people would actually have pretty good life scripts as well. So I don't know. It gets kind of hard to identify people at time, you know. You can only really get like a hint basically that they might be fake. But I think the code line break system is pretty good, you know, at getting a good guess if someone's real or not. Oh shit. Ooh, we gotta protect this woman, you know, before feminism makes it so we can't. Ooh. I never used the boomerang as a kid, but it's actually kind of good. So yeah, what else was I gonna mention about that? Yeah, I had this like thought basically, you know, I've been talking to people about like the possibility that maybe the Matrix makes the NPC characters stupid on purpose, rather than you know, because I don't think they lack processing power basically. You can have a really intelligent NPC character that does a lot of like computer programming or, you know, whatever, and they will be really smart about that shit, but they're unable to do anything that comes to like spiritual level stuff. So if you ask them the deep questions, then they're not gonna have anything to say about it basically, you know, unless it's like really standard. But yeah, but when it comes to like mundane shit, they're able to do stuff. I don't know if you've noticed that yourself when you talk to people, how if you go too deep into a subject, you know, on a spiritual level, they kind of shut down. It's like sometimes they even get this like blank face basically whenever you talk to them, and it's like they can't even process what you're saying. That's what we need the lamp for, by the way. Oh shit. God, I suck at this game. Yeah, so basically these NPC characters, they have a very difficult time doing anything like deep, basically. It's kind of like how they lack imagination. So if you play a role-playing game with a bunch of NPC characters, they're not going to be very intelligent, which is something I mentioned in my last video. But if you talk about mundane shit, you know, then they can be super intelligent, you know, and do a bunch of cool shit that you're not able to do because, you know, your brain's limited or whatever, and so you're unable to really process shit, you know, as well as they're doing because basically they're cheating. I don't actually think that, you know, they have a real, you know, mind, basically, so whenever they do shit, it's basically like a computer game, you know, like it's just cheating, you know, there's nobody actually there thinking about shit. So, you know, well, when you were a kid, you know, and you would go to school or whatever, or if you are a kid or whatever, you know, or you're in college or something, then you're gonna be studying, and then basically, you know, you have to use all of these like efforts to make sure that you can memorize all the bullshit and all that kind of shit. But when an NPC character, you know, leaves you, basically, my bet is that basically they don't even study or anything. They just kind of like show up at the test time, and then they just, you know, ace the test or get whatever pre-made grade they're gonna get. Because they're not actually real people. Instead of, they don't actually have to put in the effort. I don't know, that's just kind of what my guess is. And when it comes to that topic, one of the reasons that I think that's the case is because you can kind of see how the Matrix simulates public behavior. It's and like it's like whenever you go to a place and it's like there's always a set number of people in places. So for example, you go to the food store, there's never 500 people that one day, you know, and they're all thinking, oh, I'm gonna go buy some food right now. Like it's always, you know, I don't know, like 20 to 50 people, depending on how big the store is, you know, maybe 100 if it's a really big store. That kind of shit. But it's never like, you know, everyone goes to the store at the same time. And you can see that with other things as well. For example, if you ever go to like a park or whatever, there's always a set number of people. I used to play some disc golf, you know, a while back. Haven't done it in a while. It's basically you throw a frisbee, but you play the rules of golf, basically, and then you like put it in a basket instead of a hole in the ground. And whenever I would go to those places, it would always be a set number of people. There's a heart in here that gives you more health. I'm not sure if I should take it. Let's play in hard mode and not take it. I'm gonna dive because I'm lacking one heart later on in the game. It's gonna be funny. God, his beeping is not very good. Save and quit. There we go. Now we don't have to listen to the beeping anymore. Start from Sanctuary, the church that we rescued the princess from. This is like some old guy that's gonna die later on. Whoops, spoilers. So yeah, what the fuck was I saying? Hold on, I'm gonna check what the fuck I was saying. My mind went kind of blank. Alright, I checked out what the fuck I was talking about. Alright, so basically, whenever I would go out to play the frisbee golf or whatever, you know, like disc golf, basically the people would always be about, you know, like, you would have a couple of them, you know, like 2 to 5 people on a, you know, busy day work, you know, so like if you go on Monday, you know, in the middle of the day. But if you go on the weekend, you know, you would have a couple of more people. And really the only time that there was like a lot of people is if there's like a event, basically, you know, like a tournament or something going on, then there would be a shitload of people. But other than that, it was always be, you know, about the same set of number of people. And it's kind of like the Matrix just simulates how many people it makes sense for there to be in the territory. But like that doesn't really make a lot of sense, because if you think about it, the day I chose to go and play disc golf, you know, is basically a random day where I'm like, yeah, I feel like doing this. And it's like, okay, so if everyone else is real, then they should be doing the same kind of thought patterns, right? But that's not really what's happening. How the fuck do I do this? It's a little puzzle, you know. Yeah, so basically, you know, every now and then everyone should have the same idea. Like, oh, it's a sunny day or whatever. Let's all go and, you know, play disc golf. Like, they should all have the same idea. But that's not really what happens. So you never get this, you know, 500 people all showing up the same day, you know? Like that just doesn't happen, you know? At least I've never seen that happen. It's only if it's like an event, basically, but that's a scripted, you know, Matrix event, so it doesn't really count, you know? So yeah, and it's the same thing with like whenever you look at how many cars are running around in your neighborhood, you know? It's if you go to a smaller neighborhood area, you're gonna see a lot more car than it makes sense for there to be. How do I oh, there we go. There's always too many cars, you know. It's kind of like the Matrix is simulating cars because, you know, there's always traffic, but it doesn't. Oh shit! I picked up a mini heart. Well, whatever. If you pick up 4 of those, you get another hit point. But I'm trying to not pick up those. But I haven't played this game in, you know, fucking forever. So, so yeah. So yeah, but so basically, the Matrix would just simulate traffic, you know, in order to make the reality look more real. But none of that shit is actually, you know, real to begin with. It's all a bunch of bullshit, basically. And if you see, was there something in here? This is chicken in here. No, there's nothing in there. Yeah, so all of these NPC behaviors, you know, it's like a fake simulated reality kind of type of thing. How do I talk to people? Oh, that's not how I talk to people. Oh, that's how I talk to people. I bought this thing. I'm gonna put a fairy in there, so if I die, it's gonna revive me. It's pretty good. So yeah, and so basically, you know, you play this reality simulator, and the Matrix will just spawn in a bunch of people, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. What the fuck was I thinking about? My head is so fucking intelligent. I can really remember what I'm gonna say. I should misclick. I used all of my oh, whoops. I'll let the guards know I'm out there. I'm a fugitive, you know. So anyway, so the Matrix will simulate the populations, you know, to make the game look more real, but in reality, it's not actually real at all. And you will kind of see that with the population that spawns in when you're playing this Earth game realm. It's be it just the number of cars or any other, you know, stuff like the public number of people or something. It's pretty much the same thing. You can probably notice it if you start paying attention to it. It becomes kind of obvious how it's basically all fake. Where did I find that hoe thing? And I'm not talking about a prostitute. You need to find a hoe to like catch fairies or whatever. It's not like you know, disrespect to women and like trans people or something. I don't know. That's not really what I was talking about. Yeah, but yeah, I think I need some bombs to get into that thing, so I'll buy those. You can buy these things, and there's like health potions that you can drink to get more life, but I'm gonna capture some fairies instead and like, yeah, kill them for food basically. Switch gear. Place a bomb. Secret room. Here you can pick up some more bombs and shit, you know, and arrows, which is something I'm gonna need, you know, later on. And then you can step out, and then you can step in again, and you can pick up some more stuff. So it's like free money. just like reality, you know, the banks just print shit. But you have to work for your money because you're real and fuck you. Looks like I am getting more messages. One sec. Alright, I muted shit. It's not really important messages, so we can concentrate on this thing. Yeah, so... Okay, I can't pick up any more bombs, apparently. Although, what... So, anyways... I think those are enough arrows for now. Yeah, so the Matrix will simulate a bunch of bullshit, you know, to basically make the world look real. But it's like, if you've noticed, you know, like, yeah, a lot of NPCs, you know, like, yeah, they don't really seem like they have to work hard for anything. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's similar to like how basically you have to study hard, you know, but they just kind of show up in the test, you know, and they do really well and shit. I don't know if I talked about this already. Sorry if I did. It's just another chicken. Oh, whoops. God, this is like animal abuse. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was just some arrows. Ooh. Yeah, but a lot of stuff in this world is, you know, complete fucking horseshit. So, is this the one I talked to? No, it is not. Where the fuck do I find that hoe thing? So yeah, but anyways, yeah, here it is, nice. So I get that thing, and then I can basically capture little hoes, you know, to feed myself when I'm too hungry with my health pool. Or whatever you wanna call it. You kind of do like this, you know, and you capture things in your little bottles. Sometimes you can find fairies in like bushes and shit, but there's also like a cave near your original house that you spawn in, where you can find those things. I think I'm supposed to go talk to someone. Is it? No, that's the store, right? Yeah, that's the store. I think I was supposed to talk to him. Ah, okay, no. There we go. Now we can go and try and beat the first dungeon. I think that is a gambling store, which is really good for kids playing the game, you know. Yeah, it is. I'll show you how it works. You pay 20 bucks, you know, and then you get to pick a chest. I'm gonna pick the one on the left. I got one, so I lost money. So, you know, this is really good, and then you can go back in and do it again, you know. You can teach kids, you know, to become addicted, you know. It's a good mechanic. Yeah, I won money, you know, and now I want to do it again. It's a really good life lesson, you know. Yeah, but yeah, I don't actually think that NPC characters actually, you know, simulate everything in the background if you're not looking at them. So, like, yeah, whenever you study for a test or something, you actually have to, you know, force the information down your jargon, you know, because the Matrix makes it hard to memorize shit that is, you know, pointless when it comes down to it. Which is why, you know, memorizing fun things is easy, you know, and memorizing things that aren't fun is, you know, difficult because it's, you know, a bunch of bullshit. I can't get to those things before I have the running shoes. I'll show you guys what I mean later on. So yeah, but that kind of goes hand in hand with the idea that just as how the boring shit becomes really difficult to memorize, you know, like the reason that's the case is because, you know, then you can be tortured longer, you know, because you have to spend more time doing the things you don't want to do. It's the same thing as why, for example, whenever you're having fun, time goes faster, and when you're bored, time goes slower, and that's, you know, another way to torture you, basically. because that's how the Matrix is designed. It's one of the things that goes with what I like to call evil intelligent design, which is basically the idea that this world, basically they have a bunch of shit in it that's basically just designed very deliberately to create suffering. So for example, headaches, you know, like there's no physical reason, like from a spiritual level or whatever, for you to have a headache. Like the only purpose it serves is to torture you, basically. It's if you imagine, like, yeah, you have a broken leg, then you know it hurts when you move the broken leg because you're not supposed to move it, because if you do, then you know you're gonna damage the healing process and everything. So in a way that makes sense, but it's like even then the pain should just be like a numbness, basically, so you don't like move it. That would have been like smarter if this was a good world, basically, but since it's an evil world, you actually do feel a shitload of pain instead. But at least it makes some kind of like sense in the like way of healing or whatever. But things like headaches make no sense at all, because there's no fundamental reason for you to have it. Like you're not gonna move less, you know, or like heal better because you're not fucking moving. Like the headaches is gonna go fucking away, you know, like. And there's no reason for those things to be there in like to begin with, like any fucking brain fog or anything. Like none of it makes any sense at all. But it is there, you know, in order to torture you. So that's kind of what I like to call evil design. In evil intelligent design, I mean. Because it's, you know, deliberately made to torture you, basically. And there's a bunch of shit like that. It's hard to think of something on top of my head, but you can probably, you know, figure something out on your own, you know, and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. May already have done that. This is the original dodgeball, because you dodge balls, you know. So yeah, and what else was I gonna say about the evil design thing? Yeah, so you have, you know, time passes differently depending on if you're bored or not, you know. Because fuck you, you know, if you're bored it's gonna take longer, if you're having fun it's gonna be shorter, because you're not allowed to have fun, basically. And you know, the stuff you have to do in this matrix to survive is the boring stuff, you know. Which is why creative work is looked down upon, you know. Or isn't very easy to, you know, make a living off of. Even though it should be the opposite way. Yeah, this is the guy that jumps around whenever you swing your sword. There we go. Pick this thing up for some more energy, so I can use my special things. It's like a compass that shows you where the boss is in the dungeon. I never used them because, you know, I got everything memorized. Because I played this game like a billion times. We're about to reach the bow, which is in this giant chest. I don't have the big key yet though. Where the fuck did I get that? And I just said I memorized everything. Good job. I think it's up here somewhere. Ooh, don't let those red things touch you. You know they're bad to be touched by, you know, because they're red. Oh yeah, if you don't have the lamp thing that I picked up in this light right now that you're seeing, you know, you wouldn't be able to see that. At least I think that's how the game works. So I guess that's a really important reason to have that lamp. Pick up that light, run away from those spirit reapers or whatever you want to call them, open up the gate. There we go, we used to walk down there. Keep clicking the wrong keys. It's Am I supposed to walk up here? No. How do I get to that thing? I need to, maybe it's these things. No? Ah, okay, yeah, I kill everything and then they start running around. And then I step on this thing, I get the big key, and then I can get my bow. Alright, good. What? Dodge those things, run up here, dodge it like a pro. Run up here, and go get my bow. I don't know, a lot of stuff in the Matrix is also kind of like stupid when you think about it when it comes to like workflow and everything. I mean, everyone around you is basically fake. So when you think about that, that basically means that, you know, there's oh shit, these skulls are flying after me. I think if I jump down here, I get to collect something, right? Yeah, there we go. If I pick up this thing, I start swinging this thing around. Then I can keep them in my bottles. Nice. Now I have a bunch of fairies in, you know, my bottles here, and they can, you know, save me if I need it. And I'll step on one of these things to teleport. Nice. Shoot that guy in the fucking face. There we go. I think there's money down here. There is, along with a bunch of rape reds, or whatever you want to call them. Woo! Dodge master. So yeah, it's I mean, so basically everyone around you is basically fake in general, you know? So like, there's a very small amount of actual real people out there. So when you think about doing work, it's like, what's the actual point of doing work? Well, it's just there to, you know, basically torture you. There's no like fundamental function of doing work. I almost got killed there. It's like, you're not actually providing services to people, you know? Because there's nobody to provide those services to, because all the people that come to buy your stuff are fake, you know? So it's like, yeah, whenever you deliver a newspaper, you make a loaf of bread, you know, you do any kind of shit like that, and then an NPC comes to buy those things. Like, there's nobody actually buying that shit. So like, what is the actual function of, you know, doing these things? Well, it's just there to keep you busy, you know, doing shit that you don't like, and basically that kind of stuff. So yeah, like, it makes sense, you know, like, why would you design a world that's supposed to be there for, you know, your own good or whatever, and what you see is a bunch of, you know, busy work bullshit. How do I? Okay. Yeah. Alright, this is the boss room, by the way. So yeah, so like, all that kind of shit is just there to torture you. Like, the 9 to, what is it, 8 to 9 or whatever, you know, stereotypical workday. Like, it's only there to torture you. Like, there's no function, like, other than that. Like, this is some kind of learning school or whatever. And since everything is basically simulated, there's no reason for you to have to work to get shit, you know? You should just be able to, you know, simulate things in, you know? So like, if you need food, you can just simulate that. So it makes no fucking sense at all. Let's go kill this boss. Oh wait, that's the next room. Sorry for blowing up your minds with that expectation. Or, you know, whatever. Oh, I should, that didn't work. Pew pew. Pew pew. Yeah, boy, Mr. Robin is here. Alright, now is the boss room. Alright, let's do this. Now they're gonna start charging forward. Need to kill one of these things to make sure I don't die. Woo! The bow is really good against this boss. You can beat them with like your sword or whatever, I think, but it's like way easier to just kill him like this. And you get a heart, you know, for beating the boss. And that's how we're gonna level up our health pool. And then you get this ball thing like in fucking Dragon Balls or whatever it is. And then the princess annoys us with a bunch of fucking text, you know, where she talks about shit. Oh wait, no, that's later on. In the beginning of the game, we don't have to listen to that. And they spawn you outside of the castle, and that was that battle. Now I think we're supposed to talk to that guy in the house again to get our running boots, if I remember correctly. Over here. Yeah, there we go. Now I got the running boots. Alright, let's see. How the fuck do I use them? Okay. So I do like this and then I can like run. And if you hit things, you know, then you bounce back. You can even use it like an attack, so if I do this. Whew. This is like a good way to travel faster as well, so. Yeah, boy. This makes the game way faster to just have this thing. It's a lot of fun as a kid to run around like this, you know, like stab things. It's good times. Oh, it's also the lift button, I see. Alright, so yeah, like the whole fucking go to work, yeah, learn shit in school and everything. I mean, it's all bullshit, you know, designed to torture you. Like, that's the reason why, you know, all the shit you learn in school is completely pointless, because, you know, that's how it's designed to be. There's literally no reason to have to go to school at all. And like when it comes to like, you know, your true fucking abilities, you know, in actual reality, like more than likely you can just learn things by just choosing to do it, kind of like accessing information. And when you think about how you actually learn shit, you know, in this world, it's like, well, what do you do? Well, you basically repeat shit, you know, in order to basically put your mind into a state where you can basically do it. It's almost like you're familiarizing yourself with it. And then like at some point your brain basically does it for you. It's like you all have access to the information, so you don't have to think about what you're doing in order to do it anymore. Which is, you know, different from when you first start learning shit, when you actually have to like think about what you're doing and everything. Oh yeah, that's a healer. We don't need that one. So yeah, and then at some point, you know, you just kind of have the information accessible to you, and that's like with everything, you know. So like, yeah, if you train as an athlete, you know, to like run around and do shit, you know, then eventually you'll be able to, you know, do those moves, you know, like fucking parkour moves or ballet or, you know, whatever thing that's physical that you're doing. You don't really have to think about what you're doing. You can just kind of like do it, you know. Same thing with like typing on a keyboard, you know, playing guitar or whatever. Just kind of comes naturally to you after a certain amount of time, you know. It's like you're accessing the ability to do it rather than like knowing how to do it. So it kind of goes in hand with my theory about what learning actually is, which is basically just your ability to access information about stuff. It's so if you think about that in the sense of true reality, basically you could do that with anything, because you're not limited to the brain anymore. So whenever you train to do something, basically that's like, yeah, familiarizing your spirit or whatever with the topic so that the brain can't limit you anymore. You know, that's kind of my theory about how shit actually works. Let's see here. When sick. Yeah, so when it comes to the NPCs learning shit, you know, they're not actually having to do those things because they don't have, you know, spirit like we do. So there is no spirit to be familiarized with any of the topics. And so whenever you see an NPC character, you know, study for test or something, they're not actually going to do those things, you know, if you're not looking at them, because there is no spirit to be familiarizing with things. Like, I don't actually think that the NPCs, you know, do shit unless you're observing them. That's just kind of my theory about shit. So yeah, but yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. And oh, whoops. Go pick up a little heart from my home. Fill that up. There we go. And yeah, I mean, a lot of shit in this world is so fucking boring. It's pointless. It's boring. The people are fucking retarded. It's you can't really even do shit in this world without, you know, like having a bunch of resources, and in order to get a bunch of resources you have to do a bunch of boring shit. It's so stupid, like pointless, stupid, and a waste of time. But yeah, it's I like to call the pointlessness of this world the car ride, and basically it kind of puts into perspective your own like views about shit. Yeah, that guy follows you if you do. Yeah, so the car ride. So basically, in order to get myself mentally ready for you know, having to deal with this reality or whatever, I basically consider it, you know, like a car ride. So when you're in a car ride, instead of being all like, fuck, you know, it's so fucking crap, I hate this, it's boring, you know, I have to fucking be here for, you know, 8 hours, you know, whatever. Instead of doing that, basically just, you know, chillax and, you know, look at the pretty trees while the car is running. Because that's kind of like gonna make the car ride a lot more easy for you. You know, it's gonna be self-torturing, you know, rather than just relaxing. And I think that's a pretty like good tip for basically staying cool while inside of this matrix. Yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of, you know, people being like, fuck this place, you know, like I can't stand it, which is very understandable. I mean, I'm basically the same way in a lot of circumstances. Like, it's such a shitty world that you don't really want to have to be here, you know? Whew. But yeah, so just think about you know, your existence here if you don't like it. Kind of like a car ride, you know, like take it easy basically. Don't take this world too serious, you know, and just chillax about it. It's gonna make everything a lot better. Oh yeah, I need a big key to grab this thing. Some good stuff in here. Oops. Get some more arrows, which I'm gonna be using later on. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice if you could just like you know, just leave this place and take everyone with you. You know, just get everybody out of here rather than spending time here. So, um, I understand, you know, like it's a very good idea to stick around as long as possible to basically gather as much information as you can before you leave. Because you don't really want to leave prematurely and not be ready for, you know, whatever challenges you might be facing. So taking your time to study reality and everything before you leave is, you know, a good idea. And in order to, you know, handle that fucking torture, you know, thinking about it like a car ride is gonna make it a lot easier. Because the way you basically pass time in a car ride without suffering is to just relax about it. Like once you start doing that, it's gonna be a whole lot easier to deal with. And when it comes to like car rides and shit, that kind of goes hand in hand with the intelligent design topic, because it's like, yeah, one of the reasons why we have to wait for shit in this world is because that's not a natural state of spirit, at least not as far as I see it. So as a spirit, you know, you can manifest using your imagination, you know, as a creator being. So during, you know, your true existence, you know, you shouldn't really be having to, you know, wait for shit. Which is why we have to wait for so much different shit in this reality, because it's designed to torture you. It's like a spirit, you know, that just creates out of will, you know, like, why would you ever have to wait for anything so it doesn't come natural? And you can see that represented in, you know, kids' behaviors. So, you know, whenever a kid is, you know, having to wait, they always, you know, hate it. And, you know, kids will play, you know, fantasy games where they imagine shit and they will, like, it really live into it, you know? That's kind of like the Matrix, you know, copying our true state, basically. That's another piece of art, but I'm not picking it up for an extra challenge. Now we can lift those rocks, because I picked up those gloves in the big chest. So now I can access this area. So yeah, that goes in hand with the intelligent evil design. This is a little trick that you can do with these things. Just keep swinging your sword, and those things can't really hurt you unless you fuck up the swing. I think the game wants you to run around and dodge them, you know, rather than just do that kind of like this, basically. Which I suppose is a lot more fun. It's kind of like disc golf, isn't it? But it's like the goal. So yeah, and then I have to find a key in one of these things. There we go. So yeah, it's I mean, you can tell that this world isn't just some randomized, you know, like, yeah, oh, it just happens to be that this is how reality is. You know, like, it's too deliberate just to be a randomized world, basically. Like, it's obviously designed to be a torture dungeon. I need to find a key. There we go. Another frisbee map. We're gonna run around. This was a lot harder when I was a kid. I guess you get kinda used to playing games and shit. Back in the day, that was kind of a difficult challenge to do. I need my arrows to kill this guy. 2 shots is enough. And then I need to turn these things on in order to make the wall move. I don't know how I figured this out the first time, because there isn't really any, well, instructions. But I guess old games didn't need instructions because people were a lot smarter back in the day, I guess. No, I'm not supposed to do that. Go. I think this is the boss room. And I think in this boss room one of the fun things is to use bombs basically, but I'm not sure how good I'm gonna be at doing that. Yeah, it's the boss room. These things dig themselves up basically, you know, and then they shoot these things. Just gonna place a bunch of bombs everywhere. Go all Al-Akbar mode on them. I just ran out of those things. Switching out to my arrows. That's a good hit. And then I think the challenge becomes like harder with the last one, because like speeds up or something. Yeah, so now the thing is gonna get more aggressive, I think. Yeah, like more rocks, you know. Oof, almost got hit by that. Even flies longer. There we go. And another heart. And then we pick up the blue ball. So yeah, it's what the fuck did I mention last? Good memory, good memory. Guess that's another thing, you know, like you don't really remember shit as well when you're playing this Earth simulation game or whatever, because your brain fucking goes DUR mode and deletes the memory, which is kind of fucked up. It does look though that basically whenever people die, you know, it seems like they still have their personality and memory intact. So that's kind of a good sign. And if you lift this thing up, you find a secret cave, which you can print money like the banks. Basically like this. And we're gonna need that money later on when we get the swimming gear in order to get my arrows. So we can have like 70 of them or something. And that's when I'll switch over to Robin Hood mode. I think that's actually before the Dark World though. The Dark World is actually kind of funny because it's a mirror of this world in the game, but it's, you know, like basically evil, you know, and dark, mysterious, and all that kind of shit. And that's kind of similar to the idea that, you know, this world is like a bad copy of another world that some people talk about. That's kind of funny. I like how probably a lot of I mean, it could be that a lot of shit, you know, in this world, you know, are represented in true reality as well. But it's like, yeah, it's basically been twisted, you know, to be dark, you know, to torture you and shit. It's like you could have adventure worlds, you know, and shit in true reality, which would be similar to this one, you know, but this one is made to be shitty, basically. This is the fairy thing I was talking in the beginning about. So yeah. There's so much shit in this world. What the fuck was I supposed to do next? Since I'm at my house, I'm actually gonna save it. I can oh yeah, I'll go to the sanctuary because I beat the second boss. And if I talk to this guy, he heals me. Yeah, he does. Now I'm gonna go beat the third boss, and then I need to beat the evil witch that wants to kidnap the princess, and now I'm gonna get sent to the Dark World. Oh, oops. You can actually capture one of these fly things and then like use it as a weapon. I feel like these guys give you something. sure. There's also another thing, the characters in this game, when you go to the Dark World, is kind of like it's been twisted, you know, so like I think these two guys are separated or something. It's kind of like a twisted reality, kind of like how the Matrix tortures us, you know, in this reality, and like makes our minds not work as well as they should, you know, and shit like that. It's kind of similar to the Matrix in that way. There's another gambling house. Good for the kids. This thing just doesn't want to stop fighting you for some reason. I'm looking for a powder. It's like it's a magical like, sprinkle fairy dust item that you can use to turn those red circles that chase you into like fairies and other stuff. That guy tries to steal from you if you go too close to him. Ah, there it is. You pick up this thing. And then you feed it to the witch, which I'm gonna head over to now. Then we'll get that powder from her once she finishes cooking her magic shroom. Oh yeah, I'm over here. Run over here. Alright, what else should I enlighten you about? So we talked about how learning functions and how like that probably works in true reality. Talked about NPCs. I say. Talk to this lady. What do I need to? I think I need to hold it. What the hell? Did I talk to this guy? Oh, okay, yeah, that's how I do it. All right, nice. Now she's gonna brew me a potion or whatever, and I'll brew herself a potion, which is gonna get me the fairy dust at some point. May actually be able to just do this and then get the potion, or it takes a little bit longer. I'm not sure. Yeah, nice. Nice, and now I got that shit. That's good. Now I can sprinkle my fairy dust on people. Kinda looks like this, you know. But you. I think it works on this guy too, right? Yeah, it does. Turns him into like I don't know, some weird creature thing. Oh yeah, I can do that and get the mana from him. Yeah, okay, nice. Cool. Oh yeah, and I think I get my fishing, my swimming boots from this place, huh? That's good. I can actually start my challenge early. Oops. Hold on a second.